Fixing a drop stitch purlwise is as easy as fixing a drop stitch knitwise. So no more dramatic moments or tension in your knitting journey. The techniques stay the same, but with a tiny difference. Let's look at two methods that will help you bring a drop purl stitch back to the needle. What happens if we drop a stitch when we are knitting a purl row, like in this swatch? This can also be very common if you are knitting a rip stitch, like this one. Imagine that you drop this purl stitch and it rounds down a few rows. How do you bring this purl stitch back? Basically, we do it the same way as a knit stitch, but in this case, the yarn has to be in the front. Let's start with the first method, using a crochet hook. As you can see, this is a strand we have to insert inside the stitch. We bring it to the front of the stitch. Then, insert the crochet hook into the dropped stitch from back to front, like this. Grab the strand and pull it through. You can help with your fingers if you need. And like this, you just made a purl stitch. Let's do it again. Bring the strand to the front of the dropped stitch, insert the crochet hook into the stitch from back to front, grab the strand, and pull it through the stitch. We still have one more strand to go before we reach the top, so let's do it again. Remember, we do not insert from front to back and grab the yarn from the back, because that way we could make a knit stitch, you see? And that is not what we want here. We want a purl stitch. So, with the yarn in the front, insert the crochet hook from back to front. Grab the yarn and pull it through the stitch. Now we have a purl stitch and the stitch is back to the top. Place it on the working needle and keep knitting your purl row. What if you don't have a crochet hook and you drop a stitch? In this case, we will help ourselves with the regular needles we are already working with. As you can see, there are 3 strands here. First, we want to work this one, then the second, and finally the third. So, with the yarn in the front of the stitch, insert the left needle into the stitch from back to front, grab the strand from back to front, and then with the right needle, pick up the stitch and pass it over the strand. Now, you have your first purl. Now you have the second strand to work. Bring the yarn to the front of the stitch. Insert the left needle into the stitch from back to front, grab the strand from back to front, and then with the right needle, or also with your fingers, pass the stitch over the strand. Let's do the last one. Bring the yarn to the front, insert the left needle into the stitch from back to front, grab the strand, and then with the right needle pass the stitch over the strand. And now the stitch is back to the top. It's important that the stitch is sitting in the right direction on the needle. As you can see here, this one is twisted. So pay attention if this happened to you and turn it the right way, like this. And now you can keep knitting. As you can see, fixing a drop stitch purlwise is very easy. No need to worry anymore if you drop a purl stitch in your projects.